Hey everyone, me Kevin here. Yesterday, shortly after the news broke on stimulus, I brought you the story that Donald Trump is suggesting that he can immediately release $300 billion in stimulus to Americans. That would be direct stimulus, direct checks, no bill, just here you go. $300 billion in checks. Let's dive in a bit deeper into where this money is coming from, what it could mean, and what else is going on in stimulus news today. But first, remember, there's pretty much no reason for you to have not yet gotten your free stock. Deposit $100 with Webull. They literally give you a free stock between $8 and $1,600, and you can take your money back after that. So at bare minimum, you're making $8 for like 5 minutes worth of work. That link is down below, and right next to that is a link that you can sign up for life insurance without talking to any humans. It's simple on your phone, you Apple Pay, and you're done. I love that. So here's what's going on. $300 billion is actually more money than we need. Current estimates are that we need around $240 to $250 billion for another round of stimulus checks, especially if we're widening the audience to include all dependents of all ages, which are the current proposals. Democrats have proposed $1,200 and $1,200, and Republicans have proposed $1,200 and $500 for dependents. Again, no age restrictions on these dependents. Now, $300 billion is somewhere between 20 to 25% more money than we need, which in theory, they could do a few things with this extra 20%. That might mean we could potentially see larger checks for dependents. Maybe instead of $500, it's $600, who knows? Or maybe larger checks for filers. Maybe instead of $1,200, it's $1,440. Who knows? Either way, my expectation is Donald Trump will do whatever he needs to do to spend every dime in that $300 pot. Now, I don't know that for sure they'll go with larger checks or any different amounts. I think it'll be easy enough for them to just do the same $1,200, $500. I think that might be an easier process for them. Maybe they'll just be more generous with who qualifies income-wise, because again, I don't think Donald Trump is going to leave an ounce of money left in that pot. He's going to blow through all of it because, well, clearly he sees every check as a potential vote. And this makes sense. We've heard the administration directly say that they see stimulus checks as politically advantageous. It's not like they're keeping that a secret. Now, the White House released a letter stating that this $300 billion, providing more information to reporters, will come from a $450 billion fund authorized by Congress during the CARES Act that still has a ton of money left in it. Now, most people are seeing, okay, we've got $450 billion in this fund. What fund is this? Most reporters are pointing to the Main Street Lending Program, which is a $600 billion partnership between the Federal Reserve and the Treasury Department, and very little of it has actually been used. In fact, there are some reports that as little as half of $1 billion has been spent. Like $500 million has been spent to date. And if I try to dig a little bit deeper myself, I can actually pull up the Federal Reserve's balance sheet and see exactly how much money they have set aside for the Main Street Lending Program, which again, it's a total of $600 billion that's authorized for it. So far, they've only committed to spending $36.8 billion of it. This literally means the vast majority of the $600 billion fund is still available. They could put aside another $150 billion if they wanted to, just in case some business decides to actually use this Main Street Lending Program. And I think that's where Donald Trump is saying, hey, we basically have easily $300 billion sitting around. Donald Trump said we have more money than we need to actually provide these stimulus checks. But I think the big question comes is, what's Donald Trump's theory when he says we have a theory that we can just send the checks, but we would like to wait to see if Congress authorizes it? Well, the theory here, based on every bit of research that I could pull together this morning, is that the president may not have the power to spend, right? Congress has the power of what they call the purse. They hold the purse strings. So it's like, no, you can't spend my money, right? That's Congress. But technically, Congress has already written the $600 billion check and given it to the Treasury Department and the Fed. Well, that money is sitting around. And technically, the President of the United States has the power to issue an executive order, which then directs members of his executive cabinet, like Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin, to do whatever Donald Trump wants. Now, Steve Mnuchin has the option of not listening to that executive order until there's actually some legislation that creates some power of law, but Let's be real here. If Donald Trump says, issue the checks, Steve Mnuchin's gonna drop everything faster than a rabbit running for a carrot. And I have no idea why I came up with that analogy, but I can already picture a smile on Steve Mnuchin's face, which we see very rarely, while he's running to the stimulus check printers, getting on the phone with Jay Powell. Yo, Jay Powell, we got the green light. Send me the 300 bill. I'm rolling the checks. But wait a minute. Isn't that robbing from the Main Street lending program? And again, this is where every bit of research that I've been doing on the Main Street lending program, which I've been doing a lot on it because it affects some stocks that I own, like Dave & Buster's, every bit of research that I can find on the Main Street lending program says that companies find the loan terms are too restrictive and banks don't like offering it because they have to take a 5% stake in the loan. That is, banks are so fearful of giving money to these companies that might go bankrupt, the banks don't even want to lose 5% of the loan they're making because the Fed's guaranteeing 95% of it. And when you combine strict terms and banks not really liking this, you get pretty much nobody using the Main Street lending program. Now, part of that might also be because it's not a forgivable loan. It's a short-term repayment period, so you've got like 4 to 5 years to pay it off, which for a company going hundreds of millions of dollars in debt for a Main Street lending program might want a little bit of a longer repayment window to get out of this. Companies also have to declare, which I really like, that they do not plan to file for bankruptcy, which, by the way, if Dave & Buster's on Tuesday says that they took a Main Street loan, because they actually qualify, size-wise, Dave & Buster's qualifies for a Main Street loan. If Dave & Buster's takes a Main Street loan, I'm going heavy on that stock myself, because that means Dave & Buster's is saying, we do not plan to file for bankruptcy, which is really good. Anyway, we'll know more on that Tuesday. Also, most reporters reporting on this really believe that if Congress doesn't do something, it wouldn't be a surprise at all to see Donald Trump just say, I'll do it. Just like he did with the USDA free food program, which remember you could still sign up for. It's way down at the bottom of the description there. Not affiliated with it, but you can get free food for any children that are 18 or younger. And of course, Donald Trump's eviction ban, his FEMA unemployment plan, and so on. This is kind of Trump's MO here. Speaking of which, on unemployment, 11 states have now paid out at least 1 week of FEMA unemployment money, with 10 states already providing the 3 to 5 weeks of retroactive pay, which we're not expecting to see more than 5 weeks of retroactive pay. We'll see, though. We're not sure if states like Arizona, who were early, are going to be able to get like a 6th or 7th week of pay, while some states still haven't gotten their first week of pay. We'll see. Currently, the 11 states that are receiving pay are Alabama, Arizona, Louisiana, Massachusetts, Minnesota, Missouri, Montana, North Carolina, Rhode Island, Tennessee, and Texas. All other states are now in the application process, including the District of Columbia, except South Dakota, who has denied applying. On COVID, we are now at 6.2 million cases, with Brazil and India crossing the 4 million case mark. Yesterday, we also saw a spike of 50,000 cases in this country, which is the first time we've crossed 50,000 cases in one day since August 15th. And this comes right as Labor Day begins. There are also now many researchers and scientists warning that the last thing we need during this pandemic is the flu coinciding with this pandemic. However, experts are suggesting that because we have so much social distancing practicing going on and mask wearing, we might actually be able to limit the flu. So at the same time we limit the spread of COVID, we might limit the spread of the flu. Kinda neat. Also, on Joe Biden's economic plan could include a new stimulus plan as soon as late January, which basically is right when he takes office. We don't yet know if Joe Biden's plan will include any form of stimulus checks, though we do expect it to include more enhanced unemployment and other tax breaks, especially for moderate to lower income individuals. Which, if you want a complete breakdown of Joe Biden's tax plan versus Donald Trump's plan, make sure to check out a video that I will link down below, or just type it into YouTube, Meet Kevin, Biden versus Trump taxes, and you'll see it there. Thank you so much for watching. Get your life insurance and your free stock via the link down below, and folks, we'll see you next time.